Good afternoon, listeners, and welcome back to BWKR, the Kids Radio. As you all know, our radio tackles every aspect of children's needs, and today we're blessed to have a special guest to talk about their advocacy for the children with special needs. Let's all welcome the president of Advocata Inc., Ms. Rosario Villasor.
Good afternoon, Mike, and good afternoon to all your listeners.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So, ma'am, how and when Advocata was formed?
Advocata is an advocacy group for children with special needs. We started actually over a pizza lunch, okay, a pizza treat that I gave to my former students in St. Scholastica's College. They were graduating, and then I invited them for a kind of a blowout or a treat. And then after that, we talked. I asked them, "Oh, aren't you going to, do something for like an outreach for when you start working?" I told them that they needed to have a venue where they have to continually give back to the community. And so when we discussed these items, they were actually very excited. So that was in March of 2012.
Oh.
And then I think sometime in April we started meeting, and then in May 23, 2012, we were incorporated in SEC.
Yes.
Yeah, so that we became now a legal entity, but we are a non-profit organization.
Okay. So, what are the purposes and goals of the organization, ma'am?
As an advocacy group, we named it Advocata, by the way. And Advocata means to advocate, meaning to say to speak for and on behalf of somebody. And this somebody is actually the children with special needs. The child, the family, and all the people who are involved in taking care of this child. So our purposes actually is multifaceted, pero maybe I can just reduce it to three main things. So we do assessments, we do training, and we do networking. Because the premise, when one has what you call a disability, meaning to say the child is behaving in a manner that is different or doesn't conform to what you call a developmental standard, you need to have a formal assessment so that at least you will understand, what the child can do and cannot do, and it will help in formulating a diagnosis for the child. So that's where assessment comes in, meaning to say it sets things going. Like if you go to a doctor and the doctor is going to diagnose you, but as a SPED practitioner, we don't diagnose, but we do the assessments, we do the tests, and that should help the teachers, the SPED teachers, to formulate an IEP, or what you call an individualized education plan. After which, we also do trainings. The trainings is there both for the members of our organization and for the people that we work with. Say we work with the public schools, and so some of the teachers, or most of the teachers that we deal with, are general education teachers, and so they don't really have much background on SPED. So we conduct a lot of trainings for them. And then the last one is networking. Now, that's very crucial, no? Because in special education, it can be very expensive. The therapy services, And so what we do is we try to link up with agencies, both private and government, in order to supply the services needed for that particular child, so that it doesn't become too costly for the parents.
Since you're not organizational.
Yes. We cannot provide, we don't have all the services. Like I don't have members who are PTs or OTs. And so those related services need to be given to the child when he's going to school, no? So if the school also cannot provide it, like the public schools, they normally will only have the educational component. The therapy services are a totally different field, and it's not school-based in that sense, no? So in which case, we are the ones helping to link them up by referring them to the places that we know provide therapy services. And then if our friends from those other rehab centers can provide the services for free, then when we can schedule certain sessions for and behalf of the child.
Okay, that's good. And ma'am, do you work alone or do you get volunteers to help you, especially in training the professionals or the teachers?
Our organization, when we started it, we incorporated with 12 members. Okay, parang 12 disciples of
12
Jesus.
disciples of Jesus.
Yeah. So from there, we conducted mga seminars, and then people liked what we were doing. And so they joined our organization. So we have more than 200
Wow, that's
members
a lot.
already, yeah, all over the country. And what we do is we invite them to participate or engage in some of the activities that we do. Now, if it's going to have to do something with assessment with a child, that is a very difficult task.
Yeah.
And therefore, we need to train them first. We need to orient them with what needs to be done for the assessment, and then we guide them, we evaluate them, we review the report that's going to be done. So the tests that we conduct are actually what we call our own tests.
Okay.
And these are not the standardized tests that you can buy off the market because that's very expensive.
Yeah.
However, what we provide the child is a baseline information. So it will still be very useful for the teacher to create a plan for the child. So which means to say, the assessment that is being done will create a narrative report. So in creating the narrative report, kailangan you have to have that skill in observing the child, in conducting the test, and then writing it. So that's the training that we do. Now outside of that, when we deal with the public school teachers naman, we have to, actually explain to them, okay, what it means to have a child inside your classroom. Okay?
Especially,
Yes.
special,
Because in the public school, remember, they are bound to accept everyone, di ba?
Yeah.
Pero if the child is already manifesting difficult behavior, what do? Do you just kick them out? So what we tell the teachers is that there are ways of handling the child. But before ways of handling, first you must be able to have what you call a clinical eye. So we'll run them through the different disability categories, tell them what are the characteristics, para sa ganun, the child is not going to be labeled as tamad, diba? Or pasaway, but clearly understanding that the child has a disability and it's beyond the control of the child to do anything about it. And therefore, the what do you call this? The accommodation must come from us.
Yeah, since na tayo yung mas
nakatatanda, mas nakakaintindi. Oo. So yun yung those are the skills that we are actually teaching the teachers during our training programs.
So you said na you have your training programs for that and for the volunteers.
Yes.
So do the volunteers pay for the training or seminars that they attended, or
Actually,
it's for free?
Okay. Normally, when we do our assessments, okay, we do it on a weekend where everybody is free because everybody is working, mga professionals kasi. That one we give for free because they are committed to being here every Saturday for a series of Saturdays until the assessment is done. Because you have to conduct the tests, you've got to write up the report.
Yeah.
So that one's is free. But when we do a training seminar, like a skills training for the teachers, we usually tie up with DepEd.
Okay.
And then we get speakers, and then we charge a minimal fee. Because we provide the snacks, we have to rent the venue. So in which case, for those types of trainings, then it has to be with a minimal fee. But for the assessments that we do, because we don't charge the child for anything, so the volunteers are also not paid, and we don't ask them to pay for anything.
Oh, okay, that's good. Pero like for example, since na you said kanina, tie it up with DepEd? Hindi nagkakaroon ng budget yung DepEd for that particular training or seminar?
Actually, from my understanding, the DepEd has a fund. Okay? But what happens is they have other priorities maybe in the way that the funds are used. So what happens is I think it's up to the school principal to decide if the teacher themselves will pay for their training or it's the DepEd fund which is given to the school that can be used.
So, since na NGO kayo ma'am, definitely there are budget concerns. So, what are your budget concerns regarding, especially, do you have like events and activities for the organization?
Yes, buti na banggit mo yun, no? Kasi masyadong mainit ang mga NGOs ngayon, no? With the Napoles thing happening. So, we are an NGO, which means we are a non-government organization, and we are registered with SEC as a non-profit organization. So, by the registration, and we are tax exempt, so technically, hindi dapat kami nagpo-profit, no?
Yes.
Pero, wala rin kaming funding in that sense because we are all volunteers. Okay, so we always will have budget concerns, but we are able to resolve these concerns by doing fundraising activities like what you mentioned. So we have a lot of benefactors, meaning to say friends, we tie up with companies who also believe in our advocacy for the children with special needs. So they will always ask us, oh, what do you need? What do you need? So sabihin namin, okay, kunyari, we did a book caravan last summer, and so we were going to donate books for the public schools in the Ilocos province, no? So we asked for books. So these are non-cash items. Okay, but we also conducted some events which will require cash because we use it as prizes for the kids. In which case, then we have to specify to our benefactors
you need cash.
You need cash.
For the
awards. Yes, for the awards. So actually, what we do is we have what you call parang zero-based accounting, meaning to say every time we start a project, zero funds yun. Tapos magpaplano kami, sasabihin natin, okay, magkano yung ini-estimate natin gagastusin? Tapos sabihin, ano ngayon ang possible sources of funds natin? Then, mag-raise na kami ng funds namin. Then, at the end of the activity, kung ano man yung kinastos namin o pinamigay namin pera, tapos kung ano yung matitira dun sa fund na yun, sometimes yun ang bumabalik dun sa organization namin for our, revolving fund. So parang meron din kami mga overhead kasi every Saturday, nagkagawa nga kami ng
trainings and seminars.
Yes.
Kailangan din talaga ng budget.
Yes,
every week budget. So, yun yan, sabi niyo po kanina may mga activities and especially yung mga for the kids. So, ano yung mga activities ma'am na nagawa niyo na for the kids? Kasi mostly, we talked about yung mga trainings and seminars for the volunteers and for the teachers. But what about for the kids? What examples of the activities na we had?
Well, Advocata did two major events last year. Actually, last year, 2013, no? So, nung July, which was the National Disability and Prevention Rehabilitation Week, that's celebrated every July. Okay, we conducted this event called The Voice of CSN.
Wow.
So, it was patterned after
The Voice.
Yung sina Lea Salonga, diba? So, what we did was to tie up with the division of Makati. So, we had 4 SPED schools, and then what we did was we opened it for a particular age group. So, 3 age group yon, tapos nun 4 SPED schools. And then yun, it was actually very interesting kasi so many of them are really excited and, and talented. So, when we conducted that singing contest, and we also had the same format.
Wow.
So, we had the judges, and then they would give the comments. So, in essence, when we finished with the activity, it was so successful So the parents were asking us, oh, kailan yung next event?
Event, yeah.
So 3 months later, so July, August, September, October, November. In early November, what we did was we did naman a regional dance competition, and we called it Step Up.
Mas malaki na.
Yeah, nag-level up na kami.
Nag-level up na.
Dati division lang ng
Yeah,
Makati. Ngayon, regional. So we had
regional meaning in buong NCR.
yeah, buong NCR. So we had about, I think, 11 schools.
Wow, that's...
Yeah, about 11 divisions.
11
divisions that we networked with, and then within the division, there are now schools that will be competing in order to represent the division. So mga divisional representatives yun.
Nandun na sa finals.
Yeah, sa finals. So what happened, it was actually very attractive for them to join kasi it was going to be in line, or it was going to be held in time for the DAO, which is the Deaf Awareness Week. So actually maraming mga deaf students ang nag-join. Yeah, oo. So that was the event na those are the two events that we conducted noong 2013, and it was really well attended. In fact, our Facebook likes nag-soar siya nung nag-start kami nung bago kami nag-start nung The Voice, nasa mga 800 Facebook likes pala kami. Kasi anyway, 2-year-old pala naman yung Advocata. Nung natapos namin yung The Voice, naging 2,000 Facebook likes kami.
Wow!
Tapos nung ginawa na namin yung Step Up, 15,000 likes. Oh.
Dami talaga.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we are able to utilize also social media in order to spread or increase the awareness for the kids with disabilities and for the projects that we are doing for them.
Yeah. At the same time, mas maraming makaalam, especially yung mga people who wants to volunteer at the same time na they don't know how lang kasi they don't see any materials or kung paano mag-join. But now we have the social media na everybody can see. So, what are the reactions naman, ma'am, ng mga kids? Definitely, enjoy sila.
Sobra! Actually, ang nangyari pa doon, it was during the week of Yolanda, the Typhoon Yolanda. So we were going to hold the activity, the competition night sa School of Design and Arts building, the College of St. Benilde. So that's a huge theater, So we did our general rehearsal on the Wednesday. Tapos nagkaroon ng advisory na the typhoon was coming on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So we gave a heads up to the children. They said, paano ngayon kung magkakaroon ng typhoon na, are we still going to push through with the event on Saturday? And all the children said, typhoon or no typhoon, we're going to come and dance.
They're excited to perform.
I know. Pero ang problem dun kasi, because of the risk involved, we decided to cancel the activity because it was during the time when things were not certain, nagbabaha in some areas, and we're talking about like 100 children,
That's a lot.
That will come, representing their schools and their divisions. So, nung in-announce namin that we were canceling the competition night, so syempre, super let down sa kanila yun, But what we did was, we met up again with school representatives, and then we said, in the light of the Typhoon Yolanda, yung cash prize, we'll just donate to the Yolanda victims.
Wow.
So that's their way of, kind of like being one with all the people who suffered. Yeah, and they were actually glad for being given that opportunity kasi they could have won the prize also, diba? But they readily gave it up also. And then we said, let's just do a party, like a Christmas party, where we're going to have all the children perform. And so that's what we did. So we brought them all to McDonald's, and then we held a Christmas party for them. We had games and food, tokens, and we gave also the cash prizes to them. Because each of the divisional representative had a consolation prize of 5,000. So we gave the 5,000 to them. But the grand prize, if they won in the competition, which is 20,000, we said, yun ang i-donate natin sa
For the Yolanda.
for the Yolanda. So kind of win-win situation yun
Yeah.
na. Oo.
Ang maganda rin nun is na kapag instill ka ng value dun sa kids na makapagbigay din dun sa mga mas nangangailangan. Diba? Yes.
At saka naiintindihan nila yun. Kaya nga yun nga I think that's the beauty of it, no? Even if they are so, parang competitive in that sense, no? They still look beyond themselves and said that, but somebody else needs it more. But if it's just for, the purpose for the activity was to, allow them to bond with other children and showcase their talents, magagawa naman yun in another way. And we did it nga in McDonald's where they all danced pa rin. Everybody saw their numbers kasi syempre nag-prepare sila for the past 2 months, no? And then they came in their costumes. So actually it was very nice kasi I think that having a party allowed them to even interact with the other children, diba? Unlike if it's just a competition,
sila lang talaga and ang thinking nila kalaban ka to. So kailangan mag-perform tayo. But since na merong Christmas party where lahat sila parang naging winners all
Yeah, winners lahat. Kasi kung mag-competition ka, there are 2 categories and 11 schools. So, dalawa lang ang mananalo, 9 luhaan. So dito, walang luhaan.
Sila panalo.
Yeah, kasi we gave them naman their consolation prize of 5,000 each. So, kahit papano, meron pa rin silang natanggap. Tapos nakapag-party pa sila, and then they had loot bags and a lot of games.
Yeah, that's great. So ma'am, any advice or any parting words for our listeners, especially yung mga gustong mag-join sa organization na?
Well, ang Advocata is actually a very good venue for people who are looking for an opportunity to share their talent and their time with children with special needs. By joining Advocata, you will learn more about children with special needs, and you will get the training, and you will get to learn to love the children more.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So if you want to get to know us more, you can go to our website. Actually, you can go to our Facebook page. That's at www.facebook.com/Advocata Inc. And then you can click on a downloadable form, and then fill it up, and then email it to advocatainc@yahoo.com. And then you'll get to be informed of all the events and the activities that we are planning, and you're most welcome to join us. And I'm sure you'll meet a lot of people kasi we are young.
Yes.
We are young. Most of our volunteers are from the universities, the top universities in the country, and they are actually, most of them are education majors. But some people have been attracted from the different degree programs to join us. And then we also have professionals who I guess really saw the need to give back to the community. And what better way than to have activities with children with special needs. So you can become the voice for children with special needs.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And definitely we will support your group, Advocata Inc. And to our listeners, you heard it. Kung paano sumali, and just Facebook lang. Tapos makita nyo na kung ano doon. Just follow the guidelines on how to join the group. So thank you once again, ma'am,
Yes.
and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike, for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.